Today we're going over how to get data automatically flowed from your Airtable using Matillion and into your Snowflake server. This is useful in many different ways and many different use cases, but it can especially be used as a server write-back feature. A few things you want before you get started is of course your Matillion access, your Snowflake tables created for both staging and your production, and of course your Airtable with your data in it. Something I want to get into real quick. It's that Airtable is depreciating their API tokens. This will be starting in January of 2024. So from here, let's go to your developer hub. This is how we'll create our bearer tokens to be used by Matillion. Create new token. Define the scope. All we need is read only. And of course, the base at Airtable. Save this token. It's very important. Okay, now that we have that saved and created, let's go over to Matillion. I already have a transformation and orchestration job created. Just right click on the file and create those as needed. We'll need one of each. So on the orchestration job, first we want an API query. Then a transformation run. Before we get into the details of these, we want to go up to Project, Manage API Profiles, and you'll want to create an Airtable profile. It's pretty simple, you just create one, but then we need to go into the nitty-gritty. This is where the fun starts. You need to create a new endpoint. This is where both that bearer token and some new details come into play. Okay, so for the endpoint URI, make sure this is set to get. Then you want to copy the standard API. This can be found in the documentation on Airtable, but I already have it saved. Then you want to go to your table on Airtable. Go into the URL and copy from app past table here, and then right to the slash. Paste it in here. Before you push send, go over to your authentication. You want to go copy your bearer token. Put it in. Next, let's send it. And here you should have all of your results. It's helpful to look at the columns that you've created and what it's recognizing. If you don't see something here that should be here, you should start a troubleshooting phase. Next. Okay, let's get into this API query. First things first, change the authentication method to bearer token. Let's make sure we still have it copied. Profile is just Airtable. Connection options aren't needed here. Data source. It's the same thing that we just created. Let's bring over all of the columns by simply clicking this button. I like to get rid of the limit over here. Let's move down to these. For your warehouse, database, schema, and table, this should all just be information you get from your staging in Snowflake. Make sure you click staging on the schema. I like to copy it over directly from Snowflake for the table, just to make sure it's correct. Make sure you change your stage platform from Amazon to Snowflake. I like to turn auto debug on and keep the standard settings. Next, transformation. You're going to be sending this to T1, what we'd created up here. Alright, let's move over to transformation. We need to create our first transformation job. It's going to need both an input and an output. Go to your components, type in input, then output, link them together. The same process goes here, but make sure this is all for staging. This is on the input. Bring all your columns over. Now this next step is critical. Click your production schema. Next, we need to make sure all of our columns match up. I like to add all and then fix them as needed. You can come over here and manually enter the ones you need. Okay. These have similar or same names, so that's okay. They match up pretty conveniently. But in many cases, you will have columns that are not the same name. You'll need to independently click each one to match them up appropriately. Finally, for truncate and append, I like to set it to truncate. This is most effective for creating a true write-back between your Airtable and your Snowflake server. Finally, before we run this and see if it works, I want to talk a little bit about scheduling. If you want this to schedule on a regular cadence, right-click, Schedule Job. I'm not going to go into all the details of this. It's pretty self-explanatory, and they have a great detail here on how to use it. I just like to note The star feature is what you use for regular cadence within an hour. If you want to repeat like every hour, you'd want to use the star. Okay, let's run this. I love the task window. It really helps with debugging things and checking out errors. Oops, looks like I've got an error. Let's go check out our transformation job. It looks like we're experiencing errors here. It looks like there's capitalization errors. This shouldn't be an issue. Bring them all over. Come to your output table and make sure they're all reflected individually here. It almost never goes perfectly, so you always want to make sure you debug properly. Okay, let's run it again. We had a good run. So this is what's in our Airtable. Let's see if it matches our production table in Snowflake. Boom! 4 rows. They have unique IDs tied to them. Looks like all of our information is here. Great. So this is how you create a data flow from Airtable using Matillion and into Snowflake. Like I said, you can schedule this on regular cadence. I hope this helps you in your data flow ecosystem.